To say that Donald J. Trump has a hypocritical and disingenuous relationship with, say, God and religion is literally like saying the Pope is Catholic. And in this breaking story, as Trump's big beautiful bill that he's threatened everyone has finally passed, how about we hear from the actual Catholics with regards to Donald Trump? It is extraordinary what they just laid down for the world to see, and we'll show that to you in a few seconds. Let's take a quick stroll down memory lane regarding an interview and also the statement about Trump being chosen by God. This.
When you said that you've never asked God for forgiveness, do you regret making that remark?
No, I have great relationship with God.
Last night at a precinct in Carlisle, Iowa, a caucus goer spoke in support of Donald Trump.
But I like to be good. I don't like to have to ask for forgiveness.
She said, I know that he is picked by God for this hour. There are things that he has done in his past, but we all have pasts.
Your message to Catholics, sir, mourning the loss of Pope Francis. Your message to Catholics, sir.
We love you all. We're with you all. They were with me during the election, as you know, very strongly.
And yet, based on Trump's literal history and actual legal troubles surrounding his behavior, not to mention the old grab him by the pee video from way back when he first ran in his first term, let's take a quick listen and have some fun from Jimmy Kimmel regarding Donald Trump's photo op holding Bibles in front of churches, and then a little something that kind of exudes what this breaking story from the Catholic Church is all about. This.
And the reports that he was holed up and hiding must have really gotten under that orange skin, because yesterday decided to walk from the White House to St. John's Church. His Attorney General, Bill Barr, directed the police to clear the area. They used tear gas and rubber bullets to disperse a totally peaceful crowd of protesters. I want you to see this photo op because he's holding a Bible upside down in front of the church. Never went into the church, didn't say a prayer, held up the Bible, posed, went back home. The bishop of the diocese said she was outraged. She said, let me be clear. The president just used a Bible, the most sacred text of the Judeo-Christian tradition, and one of the churches of my diocese without permission as a backdrop for a message antithetical to the teachings of Jesus. So after Trump paid his respects, the White House posted a highlights reel, a video celebrating the president's heroic walk across the street with an inspiring soundtrack and everything.
And I am good. I don't do a lot of things that are bad. I try and do nothing that's bad.
Well, maybe God is watching over us after all.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't think you're bad, Donald, but that little parody is incredibly accurately ironic. And in this breaking story, take a very serious listen to what a whole bunch of the Catholic Church just threw at Donald Trump. Breaking news. 20 bishops join interfaith letter against ICE funding boost in big beautiful bill. The Catholic Church enrages MAGA world by coming out forcefully against the big beautiful bill as 20 bishops sign an interfaith letter stating that its passage would be a moral failure for American society as a whole. There is nothing less Christ-like than cutting health care and food stamps for the poor. The signatories include numerous prominent bishops such as Cardinal Robert McElroy, Cardinal Joseph Tobin, Bishop John Dolan, Archbishop Paul Etienne, Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky, and Bishop Jamie Soto. In quotes, first, it provides tens of billions of dollars to the government to undertake a mass deportation campaign which will separate U.S. families, harm U.S. citizen and immigrant children, and sow chaos in local communities, the letter reads. It will spur immigration raids across the nation, harming hardworking immigrant families essential to our economy and causing widespread unrest like we recently witnessed in Los Angeles. In a separate statement, Archbishop Timothy B. Broglio, president of the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops, said that the bill takes from the poor to give to the wealthy. In quotes, it provides tax breaks for some while undermining the social safety net for others through major cuts to nutrition assistance and Medicaid, he continued. It fails to protect families and children by promoting an enforcement-only approach to immigration and eroding access to legal protections. It harms God's creation and future generations through cuts to clean energy incentives and environmental programs. I underscore what my brother bishops said in their recent letter to find a better way forward and urge senators to think and act with courage and creativity to protect human dignity for all, to uphold the common good, and to change provisions that undermine these fundamental values, he asked. Moreover, the bill provides funding for a border wall along the U.S.-Mexico border, which we believe will drive migrants into the most remote regions of the border and lead to an increase in migrant deaths, the letter goes on. It would also hurt the local government along the border and force desperate asylum seekers seeking safety to increasingly rely on human smugglers. As you should know, our faith organizations have long favored the creation of legal avenues for migration and legalization program for immigrants who have lived in the U.S. for years and contributed their hard work to our economy, the signatories wrote. In quotes, we believe the adoption of these policies instead of the implementation of mass deportation campaign would not only benefit immigrant workers and their families, but be in the best interests of our nation. Second, the legislation makes severe cuts in health care coverage and food assistance to millions of both low-income citizens and legal residents, including asylum seekers and refugees, driving them deeper into poverty, the letter adds. According to the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, CBO, the bill transfers wealth from those at the bottom 10% of the income to those to the top percent of income in our nation, increasing the already large gap between the rich and the poor. It also guts funding for crucial food programs like SNAP by roughly $186 billion by 2034. Americans are literally going to starve to death so that billionaires can afford a few new yachts. In final quotes, from our various faith perspectives, the moral test of a nation is how it treats the most in need of support. In our view, this legislation will harm the poor and vulnerable in our nation to the detriment of the common good. There isn't an awful lot to say post that story, but I would like to remind the White House and all the folks around Trump's sphere who seem to be falling into and or already were in the sycophant trap. I'll remind those who have skin my color. There's a whole lot of people in this country from a whole lot of places around the world where they revere their religion inclusive of Catholicism, who are going to find that big, beautiful bill and its outcome, no matter how much you try to gerrymander it, no matter how much you try to lie about what's in it, and no matter how much you try to prove what it does or doesn't do, even when you tinker with it to ensure that some of the tax stuff doesn't happen until after the midterms, you're going to be exposed, and there's a lot of folks in this country who are going to rise up. Just remember that, Donald. Got it? And you guys stay frosty.